Sharper Point Commentary, presented by Schwartz Laser Eye Center.
When the 13 new United American states decided that the Articles of Confederation were not sufficient to maintain our union and the Constitutional Convention was called in Philadelphia in 1787, Benjamin Franklin suggested something that sounds bizarre in the here and now. Franklin wanted a 3-member council to run the executive branch of the U.S. government. Man, that would have created a heck of a roommate situation in the White House. Meanwhile, back in 1787, Alexander Hamilton was with the Constitutional Convention and said, well, that we should have a one-person president, but then threw out the idea that he should be elected for life. Could you imagine what that would look like in our present circumstances?
You know, we've come so far since my inauguration. On that day, I told you, as I stood in that winter, we stood in a winter of peril and a winter of possibilities. Peril and possibilities.
A few years from now, if Joseph R. Biden were in the office for life. I totally respect Arizona political strategist Chuck Coughlin, but I did not agree with what he told Bruce and Gatos yesterday.
It was a great speech. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I didn't see maybe the same speech as him. It was certainly historic, but I would not call it great. And speaking of history, let's get back to that Constitutional Convention. When the Founding Fathers finally settled in on the idea of a president serving 4-year terms. Everybody agreed with that and agreed that that first president should be George Washington, a man who believed the office of President of the United States should be above politics, a rather dignified position. Another thing I can't really imagine in today's America because...
If you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
Right after Biden's bye-bye speech, former President Donald Trump wrote on his Truth Social media network, quote, "Crooked Joe Biden's Oval Office speech was barely understandable and so bad." Then the 78-year-old former president possibly remembered that Joe Biden is, no longer his opponent in his attempt to reclaim the White House and followed up with this post, quote, "Crooked Joe Biden and lying Kamala Harris are a great embarrassment to America. There has never been a time like this," unquote. He's right. There never has been a time like this. And I, like most Americans, was relieved to hear that Joe Biden was stepping aside from the 2024 presidential race. I just wish, based on the condition that he appears to be in, that would also include maybe stepping away from the Oval Office and the most powerful position in the world. But I get that Biden's a proud man, so I don't think there's any reason to be mean about it. Unless Biden starts to mix up his old Delaware home phone number with the launch codes of our nuclear arsenal.
Thanks for watching Sharper Point. Click to see more from Arizona's morning news and tap the button in the middle to subscribe.